as a seasonal employee, Katie learned and nurtured her desire to educate outside the classroom. She also discovered the joy she received when helping people of all ages connect with some of our nation's greatest ecosystems. To enhance these passions, Katie moved to New Hampshire to continue her journey in environmental education. While there, she stumbled upon Badger Balms and started working in 2014 in Badger's customer service department and immediately fell in love. It was a perfect fit for both Katie and Badger. In January 2015, Katie became Badger's educator, a role that is fairly new to the company. Given Badger's mission to create a healthier world, Katie's experience and education serve as excellent points of inspiration to better connect Badger's customers and stores to not only high-quality organic products, but also to a company that is dedicated to making a difference in local communities, the environment, and the workplace. When not working for Badger, you can find Katie hiking on nearby trails, cooking delicious meals with friends, or curling up with a good book in her backyard. Before I turn things over to Katie, just a few quick reminders. This webinar is being recorded and will be emailed to you after its conclusion. If you have any questions during the webinar, please enter them into the question box on your screen. At the end of the webinar, we will try to answer as many as possible. A promotion code will be given at the end of the presentation and will be available for 72 hours. Thank you all again, and now I'm going to turn this over to Katie.
All right. Hello, folks. I'm going to open up my webinar here, or my PowerPoint here, so we can see the full screen. And welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today on learning about the power of oil face care. So I'm going to walk through first our overview. We're going to first open up with the philosophy of Badger face care. So before we even talk about what is oil cleansing and how does that work, we need to know a little bit about why does Badger even make it? What's the origin story of the company and of the face care line? Next, we will dig into that oil cleansing method. I have had a lot of questions previous to this. Won't oil clog our pores? Isn't it dirty for our face? And we're going to break that down. So I'm going to walk through exactly what it looks like. How do you actually interact with the oil to cleanse your face? Then we're going to break it down even more. What are those key ingredients in all of these products, in the cleanser and our moisturizers, that help these natural products, these natural ingredients, actually work? We're then going to walk through the specific products that we make here at Badger. And you'll notice here in this image that we have a lot of different kinds to choose from. Why? Because we all have different skin types, and so we wanted to make different kinds to accommodate all of our different needs. And then we're going to we're going to wrap up with sharing a little bit about what people are saying. Since the oil cleansing method is a little different and kind of new for a lot of us, I thought it might be great to share a little bit about what people out there, how they're reacting to this change in their face care regimen. And then lastly, we will have time for questions and answers. So again, if you do have a question, feel free to go ahead and type that up through any time in the webinar, no problem. Throw it in that question box, and it will be at the very end, after the presentation is finished, that we'll look at those questions and answer them for you. All right, so let's get started. Well, with every story here at Badger, it begins with our origin. I'm just going to touch on this briefly so you can understand why oil face care. So in this image here of these three carpenters, we have our owner, our CEO, and our founder on the right there in the green hood, and his name is Bill. And in this picture, it's taken in 1987. Apparently, it was the coldest day in New Hampshire on this day. So you can notice that he's a carpenter. So he's got exposed hands. So he was finding that in the winter times in New Hampshire, his hands were starting to get really dry and really cracked, and thus were pretty painful. So he wanted to find a solution to that. So he looked around for a natural and organic solution and really couldn't find anything that was actually working to heal his hands. So, being the entrepreneur that he is, he decided to create something himself. And so thus was born our first product, the Badger Balm for hardworking hands. Really simple, the base ingredients being olive oil and beeswax, a little bit of aloe, and some wintergreen for antibacterial properties. And so he makes this for himself. It works. He shares it with his buddies who are carpenters, and it works. they tell him, they encourage him, you should sell this. Well, he's in the world of carpentry, so he only takes it really to lumber yards. And then it starts to grow from there. People are finding that this product is very simple, it's organic, and it's helping to heal their skin. And they come back to him saying, well, I've got hardworking feet. What about, can I use this on my feet? And he says, well, sure, but let me add a few other natural ingredients to really help your heat to feel. Okay, well, what about, I've got a hardworking baby. Can I use this on my baby? Well, sure. Well, let me add maybe some chamomile and calendula to help to be soothing and calming. So that's where the line continues to grow, and it has kind of this basis of we're creating products for those that we love, and then we're sharing them with the world. And because of that, starting over 20 years ago, we're celebrating our 20th anniversary. Here's our new building that we built just a few years ago. We're doubling it in size in just a few weeks, just starting that construction process. And you can see our lovely garden, and this helps to feed our employees an organic lunch every day. So we're not only creating products for the world, but we're also wanting to teach a lifestyle, a holistic lifestyle, how to be healthy. And so that leads me to share with you part of our product development philosophy is that we believe in a holistic approach to self-healing that touches on the needs of the body, the mind, and the spirit. And because it's part of our product or our philosophy, that really inspires the ingredients that we're using. And so you'll notice today that all the ingredients that we're using in these products are going to be USDA organic certified as well as Leaping Bunny certified, meaning that they're cruelty-free. We don't test any of our ingredients or products on animals. So because it is a holistic approach, it's not just going to be the products themselves or the oil cleansing method, but there's a whole process that I want to start off with for you today. So we have a philosophy on the face care process itself. So the list I'm about to share with you may be somewhat familiar. However, there are things that even myself, I need a great reminder. It's good for me to be reminded of this quite often. So some of these things, again, might be familiar, but to have great, healthy skin, we need to remember to be drinking lots of water. Water flushes toxins from the body and also hydrates our cells. It's good for us to add omega-3 fatty acids to our diet. This is going to aid in our skin's elasticity. Also, to avoid refined sugars. This one is certainly a hard one for me. But by having sugars in our body, that's going to be going to have an inflammatory effect. So seeing if we can cut back on those. Also getting plenty of rest, another one that's a little hard for me. And it's very true. It's beauty sleep indeed. Our skin actually regenerates while we are sleeping. It's also good to exercise. And I know we hear this left and right for lots of different reasons. And the reason why I have it here with face care is that it helps. Exercising increases circulation in our oxygen capacity. And it also helps to improve our complexion. Next, cleanse the skin gently with balanced plant oils. And that's what our presentation today is about. And I'll explain further why the plant oils are really helpful for the skin. Next, pick and stick to a simple routine. Why this? Well, our skin actually thrives on ritual, which, as an added bonus, it actually gives us a little extra time to unwind and appreciate our beauty. Next, protect using a mineral sunscreen. I cannot encourage this enough, especially during this time of year. Protecting yourself from the sun and using the most natural ingredients to do so is really important for our skin. And we're almost done with this list. Be happy and manage stress. I know this may sound easier than it is done, but if we can take time to do what makes us happy and to keep our stress levels down, this is really going to show on our skin. And lastly, living a healthy life. Again, I know easier said than done, but if we can practice even more, getting that exercise, getting plenty of rest, drinking lots of water, our skin is going to reflect that. And so it's really important before we jump in and I start to share about the oil cleansing method, it's not going to be a one-stop shop to make sure that your skin is as healthy as possible. There are lots of other things that we can be doing to make sure that we're treating ourselves kindly. All right, but we are here for that oil cleansing method, so let's dive into that. So wait a minute, we're going to cleanse our face with oils? Yeah, so I want to start off, I want to analyze this kind of as a metaphor. So I want us to think of our face as an ecosystem. So sure, I have that National Park Service background, that environmental background, and so I naturally think a lot about the great outdoors. And so let's see if we can explain this to you this way. So think of it as an ecosystem. Here we've got an image of a wetland. And so with a wetland, you've got a lot of different components involved in it for it to be healthy, for it to be stable, for it to have balance. Like our face, there's a lot of different components. Our skin cells, this is the blood circulation underneath, a lot of different things helping to make sure our skin is as radiant and healthy as can be. Now, things sometimes change. For our face, for example, it will get dirty just from normal daily use. So even if we're going out into a city and there's smog, or we put on sunscreen for the day, or we have makeup on our face, or we've sweated, the balance on the skin will change. So typically what we do with our skin when that happens, or at the end of the day, we like to cleanse our face with soap. This is what I've been doing my entire life until I came here to Badger. So you cleanse it with soap. So the good thing with the soap is that it is actually getting rid of that dirt that was on our face throughout the day, that came on from different situations. The bad thing with the soap is that it's not only doing that, but it's also stripping everything else from our skin. It's getting rid of our skin's natural oils, that natural hydration that our skin produces to help keep it in balance. So now our skin kind of looks like this. It looks like it's gone into a drought. It feels like it's gone into a drought. So I don't know if you've ever felt this when you wash your face with that soap, if it feels really tight and almost really dry. And so if you've ever seen an ecosystem before that's going through a drought, especially if you're out in California or in the Southwest, you see that drought-like experience. When rain comes, that ecosystem is not in balance to accept that rain or that water. So with the face, when we're in the drought, and then what it's going to do is it wants to naturally balance itself out. And so with our face, there's going to be even more oil production on the face because it wants to find that natural balance. And so we're washing our face every day or every other day, however often you do it, and it's going through this cycle of the face looking for balance. We strip all of that oil, so it's overcompensating, producing even more oil. And over time, we have come to see oil as dirty, or equate oil on the face as dirty. And it's not that oil is dirty, and it's not that oil is actually causing some of the breakouts that we have. In fact, it's everything else that's causing those breakouts. So we need to remember that balance is key when washing our face. So let's go back to this analogy and imagine it all without the soap. Take away the soap. We're trying to keep that natural balance on our face. We're going to take away that drought because no longer are we stripping away all of our face's natural oils. We're thus going to strip away that flooding effect because our face is in balance. And so by using natural ingredients, it's going to be a like attracts like process. We're using nature as our mentor. We're using ingredients that our skin actually understands. And it's what's important about this, too, is that not only are these ingredients natural ingredients that our face understands, but they're all going to be organic. And like I mentioned, they're going to that leaping bunny. They're also going to be what's called non-comedogenic. And what that means is that it's not going to clog the pores. And so that's really, for me, someone who grew up having acne-prone skin, I was really excited to learn about that. And I can tell you now that I hardly deal with acne any longer because of that. Well, why is that? Well, now I want to walk through the process itself, the oil cleansing method. How does it actually work? And then we'll dive into those ingredients on what ingredients make this all possible. So the oil cleansing method. First, you would use what's called a cleansing oil, and I'll talk about that more here in a bit. And you'd massage that onto a dry face in a circular motion until the skin is covered. So you could do this in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, whenever is good for you. But I like to spend a little bit of time here. This is my time to help increase that circulation on the skin, just to make sure that I'm taking care of myself. Sometimes, however, I'm going to be in a rush. It's time for me to jump in the shower and get moving. So I'll massage this quickly on my skin before I jump in the shower. Next, what you'll do is you'll follow up by using a wet, warm washcloth to steam open the pores and gently remove oil, dirt, and makeup. And what I like to do with this warm washcloth is I actually like to get it as warm as I can handle. And you're basically giving yourself a steam bath. So imagine taking that washcloth and just setting it gently over your face. I like to keep it there until I can feel it cooling off, and then I like to repeat, doing that a couple of times. Once that's finished, about 2 or 3 times, then I will gently wipe off all of that cleansing oil on my face. Not only is that process wiping off the oil, it's also being a nice gentle exfoliation process, taking off some of those dead skin cells on the face. When you'd finish kind of washing it off, I like to pat dry my skin and then follow up with a moisturizer such as our face oil or our Beauty Balm, which I'll talk about those products here in a bit. And so some of the benefits of this particular process is that it's a very gentle cleansing process. But again, it's not stripping the face of its natural oils or over-drying or even irritating that delicate facial skin, but rather it's allowing the skin to work as it's created, to be in balance. Again, all the ingredients are going to be 100% natural and certified organic, so there are no harsh chemicals, surfactants, or detergents. I remember when I was younger and had really bad acne-prone skin, and I was using chemicals, and they were actually irritating the skin just a bit more than what I needed them to be. And so that I really found a great balance with these oils. And another great benefit that you may not have thought of especially with the cleansing oil, again, remember it's that like attracts like process. The cleansing oil actually removes makeup. So if you have ever used makeup remover, if you notice, it's actually an oil. So it's taking off the oils in your makeup. It's taking that makeup off. So especially when I'm wearing a lot of makeup for the day, I like to use this at night, and it's a 2-in-1 process, and I don't have to spend any more time in the bathroom than I have to. So it's a very simple, mindful cleansing process that works in harmony with our unique composition. So we now know the process. I want to walk you through the 3 different products in particular that we have. We have a cleansing oil, and I've talked about that a couple of times. So that's that first and second step. So applying it to the face and then gently wiping it off. The key ingredient in there is castor oil, which the purpose is going to be to have a deep and gentle cleansing effect. And I'll walk through each of these in more depth. You would then follow up with a face oil, the main ingredient in there being jojoba oil. And that's going to mimic our skin's oil that's the closest. That's going to seep into the skin pretty quickly and give us a nice moisturizer. So it's an emollient and helps to balance that oil production. And so we really recommend, if you wanted to start using the oil cleansing method, to grab a cleansing oil and then a face oil. The face oil tends to be pretty light. And then lastly, we also have a Beauty Balm. So the key ingredients in there, we've got sunflower and olive oil, as well as a little bit of beeswax, and that's going to be more of an intensive emollient, so more of like a spot treatment. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to break each one of these down just a little bit more. It's not just castor oil that's in the cleansing oil. There are a few other ingredients that make it work. So I'm going to walk through each of those, and then we'll dissect the different kinds of products that we have at Badger for this face cleansing line. So first, our cleansing oils. So the cleansing oil, the first ingredient I mentioned that's going to set this apart is going to be that castor oil. So castor oil is rich in anti-inflammatory agents, and the main function in here is detoxification. So what I really like about the castor oil is that it's going to help remove dead skin cells. It's going to, as well as excess oil that our skin creates, and even pulls the impurities from the pores. So how it does it is that the molecular structure of this oil is a little bit larger than the pores on our face. So what that means, it's going to sit on top of the skin. Castor oil is not going to go into the skin. It's going to sit right on top. And it's also a little sticky. We really can't feel that, but it's just enough that when you wipe it off, it's pulling out those dirty, the dead skin cells and the impure oils on our face. And so it's a really cool process that castor oil is doing. It also has antibacterial, germicidal, and antifungal effects. But one thing I will note about the castor oil, I do have a little asterisk next to that, which means it varies in formulas. Even though it's an oil, it can be drying to some skin types. So you'll notice throughout the presentation, when I share with you the different types of face care lines that we have, there will be some that have more castor oil than others. So for the delicate formulations, there will be less castor oil. And for the formulations that want more of a deep cleanse, there will be more castor oil. So just a quick note on that. Next, we have apricot oil in the cleansing oils. And the apricot oil works great with the castor oil. They're great partners on this. So the apricot oil, what that's going to do, that is going to go into the skin. And what this does is helps to dissolve and to remove the oils in our pores. So it's going to help dissolve and remove those oils, and then what is dissolved, that's what the castor oil is going to pull out of the skin. So apricot oil is less drying than the castor oil. So when there's less castor oil in the formulation, we've added a little bit more apricot oil there. It also softens the skin and helps to calm irritation with an almost cooling effect. And lastly, one of my favorite ingredients, the menthol crystals. So menthol crystals, they're a peppermint extract, and we've just distilled them down to these beautiful little crystals. It's super potent peppermint, and that gives our cleansing oils a nice cooling and refreshing feeling, while also adding antibacterial benefits. Again, you'll see that asterisk there. This is going to be found in more of the deep cleansing formulations, and in the more sensitive skin formulations, the menthol crystals will not be there. And I'll mention that as we go on further. So those are the main ingredients that you'll notice in our cleansing oils. Next, our face oils. This is what you would use to follow up after you've cleansed your face, after you've gently wiped that cleansing oil off of your face and dried your face. So the main ingredient, the most important ingredient in the face oils, like I mentioned earlier, is that jojoba oil. So the cool thing about jojoba oil is that it's nearly identical to our skin's oil. So that means that it's going to seep into the skin pretty quickly, and it's not going to leave that oily finish on our skin. When I first heard of oils and putting oils on my face and on my skin, I just thought, oh, thick oil, it's just going to sit. Well, no, they're all a little different. So jojoba is going to seep in pretty quickly. It also protects and moisturizes and replenishes our skin while restoring a healthy glow. And it has high vitamin E content that helps to promote regeneration of skin cells. And it also, because of its nearly identical setup to our skin, our skin's oil, it helps to balance our oil production. Next is the baobab oil. Now, the baobab oil is highly moisturizing, emollient, and it's rich in a number of vitamins, vitamin A, D, and E, as well as essential fatty acids. Baobab oil is ideal to help treat dry and damaged skin while also softening skin and encouraging cell regeneration. And like the jojoba oil, this absorbs quickly and is non-greasy. And lastly, our pomegranate oil. So pomegranate oil hydrates and soothes extra dry skin. So it's rich with antioxidants that helps the skin looking young and also encourages cell regeneration. And there are also anti-inflammatory properties with that pomegranate oil. So really great for delicate skin, these face oils. Helps to rejuvenate that hydration in the skin after you've cleansed it. And lastly of the three products are the Beauty Balms. The Beauty Balm, the key ingredient here is going to be olive oil. The olive oil helps to restore moisture and tones and even make the skin smooth and supple. It also is rich in vitamin E and has anti-inflammatory properties. The sunflower oil in the Beauty Balm has a balanced and rich nutrient composition full of vitamin E and essential fatty acids, which is mostly the omega-6. The omega-6 enhances the development of new skin cells, and vitamin E acts as an emollient that traps moisture inside the skin cells. We also have beeswax in our Beauty Balm. So this is where you're going to notice the texture difference significantly from the face oil. So this is going to be a little thicker, again, for spot treatment on the face. So the beeswax acts as an occlusive, so it's going to help to prevent skin's moisture from evaporating, as well as protecting the skin from the elements. And lastly, rosehip CO2 extract. So this oil is a superior cell rejuvenator. It helps to improve skin's texture and reduces fine lines and wrinkles. It helps to keep the skin plump and moist. So here at Badger, it's one of our favorite ingredients. In fact, we've named a conference room after it because it's one of our all-time favorites. in a lot of our formulations. So those are the three main products, the cleansing oil, the face oil, and then the beauty balms themselves. So now we're going to break them down to what products we make here at Badger. So you see in this image here that we have 4 different types of face care. We've got argan, sea buckthorn, Damascus rose, and unscented. You'll also notice that in each one of those types, there are those 3 products that we just walked through. Each one has a cleansing oil, has a face oil, and a beauty balm. So what we're going to walk through is how each one of these differ from one another. Starting with the argan oil. This is going to be for skin that is neither oily or dry. You just want to have healthy skin. So you might have a little blemish here and there, but all in all, your skin is fairly balanced. And again, we're going to walk through each one of these in more detail, but I just want to introduce them to you at this moment. Next is the sea buckthorn. So we're going down now in sensitivity. So this is for skin that is shiny in the morning, dry patches during the day, or vice versa. You may also see your T-zone. It may be a bit more oily than the rest of your face. So this might be for you. Next is our Damascus rose. Oh, what a delicate scent. This is quite beautiful. This is going to be for some of the more delicate of skins that's dull, flaky, and feels tight, especially in the morning or after cleansing. This is also great for aging skin. It's going to be some of the most beautiful scents that we carry here at Badger. And lastly, unscented. This is for those of you who have irritated skin that's red or itchy or feels sensitive all of the time. So this one's going to be fragrance-free, and really it's just kind of the base ingredient to help you have a nice, radiant, healthy face. So let's break them down even further. So let's talk about the unscented. So again, this is for irritated, red, or itchy skin that feels sensitive all the time. If your skin is dry, dull, even discolored. So in this one, I mentioned earlier with our cleansing oils, that castor oil being the main ingredient, there's going to be a low percentage of that here because we want it to be really gentle for the skin. So gently cleansing of the face without being over drying, which is great. This particular line, the unscented line, this is what's also known as hypoallergenic. So it's been tested to be very sensitive for the skin. So again, there's no added essential oil fragrance to this. We have olive oil and sunflower oil in these products. Those help to replenish essential vitamins, fatty acids, and lipids. And then lastly, calendula, which will be in our face oil, and I'll talk about that on our next slide. That's going to help to reduce some of that irritation. All right, so we have 3 different products, like I mentioned. There's that cleansing face and beauty balm with their sizes underneath. These all come in glass packaging. We found that to be the most sustainable of packaging. It's really easy to recycle when finished. And I mentioned, too, the calendula oil, which is going to be really important for the face oil and the beauty balm. So I want to talk about the calendula for a moment. The calendula oil, the calendula CO2 extract, it's a vibrant and super concentrated crimson liquid with remarkable skin soothing properties. It's rich in carotenoids, vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants, and soothes even the most sensitive skin. So if you already have a lot of irritation, but you're really attracted to this oil cleansing method, I would say you want to start here with the unscented line, just to make sure that you are being as gentle with your face as the unscented, just with added fragrances that will also have additional properties to them. So in here we've got organic rose, chamomile, and lavender, which helps to be calming and balancing and exhibits anti-inflammatory properties. And again, this is going to be for dull and flaking skin that feels tight, maybe looks tired. It's also going to be for skin that's delicate and or is starting to age. This is a great one for you to start using. There's also going to be a low percentage of castor oil in this one as well, especially for that cleansing oil. So again, gently cleansing without being over drying. In this, we also have the castor and apricot oil. It helps to leave the skin clean, balanced, and glowing, and it evens the skin tone. This, I will note, is our best seller, this Damascus Rose line. In particular, some of the other products in the line we've had for quite a while, whereas this cleansing oil we just came out with last year. So the Damascus Rose we have the 3 products again, the Cleansing Face and the Beauty Balm, and I want to talk a little bit about that Damascus Rose itself. So the Damascus Rose oil has astringent, antibacterial, and antiseptic properties while still being remarkably gentle. It helps to moisturize, hydrate, and balance oil production, and even helps prevent the appearance of wrinkles. This uplifting floral blend features Damascus Rose essential oils, they're a concentrated extract of rose blossoms, hand-picked at dawn and steam distilled the very same day. So these are really delicate oil that we're really excited to share with you in this line. One of my favorites. Next is our sea buckthorn. This is for normal to dry skin, so we're starting to pick up the intensity in these products. So again, for the skin that's shiny in the morning, dry patches during the day, or vice versa. So here we've picked up a higher percentage of apricot oil. It's more vitamin A. It's going to be more moisturizing, as well as give you a little bit more of an intensive cleansing. There are also menthol crystals in the sea buckthorn cleansing oil, whereas we've not seen that in the other 2. So it's going to help to leave the skin feeling cool and refreshed. And it also adds vitamin restorative, which aids in the elasticity and radiant skin. So again, this is great for combination skin if you're seeing that dry and oily skin type on your face. So again, there are those 3 products, the Cleansing Face and Beauty Balm. And the main ingredient here that sets the sea buckthorn apart is that sea buckthorn oil. The reason why we use sea buckthorn oil is it's brilliant orange oil that has remarkable cell rebuilding and restorative properties. It is high in unsaturated essential fatty acids and helps to maintain healthy skin with a bounty of nutrients and actually more vitamin C than oranges. So this one is quite delicious. I use this quite often, and it's one of my favorites. However, it's this next one, this last one, the argan, that is my favorite here at Badger. So lastly, our argan, this is going to be for all skin types, or maybe you have seasonal dryness, or sometimes your skin is a little dull. But this is going to especially be if you want to have that deeper cleanse for the face. So in here, we have the highest percentage of castor oil in our cleansing oil, so it helps to lift those impurities from the pores and gives an even deeper cleanse to the face. There's also the argan, sunflower, and jojoba oils, which help to replenish essential vitamins, fatty acids, and lipids. And lastly, just like with our sea buckthorn, we do have those menthol crystals in the cleansing oil, and those help to leave the skin feeling cool and refreshed. So this argan line is going to have a lighter consistency, leaves less residue on the face, and just like all of the past lines that I've mentioned, just goes for a reminder that this is non-comedogenic, just like the other 3. And not only, well, this one is also our second best seller. So the first one is that rose. This is the second. And again, this is my favorite one that I use just about every other day. So there are the 3 products once again for you. And the main ingredient that I want to feature here is that argan oil. The reason why we use argan oil is because it's a remarkable oil that has long been used by Berber women in Morocco to beautify their skin and hair. It is non-greasy and absorbs quickly, provides a bounty of essential fatty acids, vitamin E, and carotenoids to restore and to protect the skin. Just a delight. So folks, those are the 4 different types of cleansing lines that we have here at Badger. We've talked about the difference between a cleansing oil, face oil, and a beauty balm, and what ingredients go inside all of those to make those work. So I want to start wrapping up here today and share a little bit about what people are saying about this. When I first heard about oil, it was great to learn about all these details, and yet I was still a little hesitant. Like, wait a minute, does this actually work? Will this work for me? So I've got a few testimonials for you today. The first one revolves around the argan face oil, and I pulled most of these off of our website. So the first one is, I'm 55 years old. This oil is great for my face, neck, and nails. I noticed the crepey lines on my neck were much less visible after a few uses. My face has a slight glow to it. My skin feels silky soft. I honestly didn't expect to see such a difference. And that was for the argan face oil. Next, an unscented cleansing oil. I was the biggest skeptic, but I wanted an organic alternative to my harsh chemical face products that I was using. So I decided to give it a try, and I'm so glad that I did. My skin has never felt or looked better. I have acne-prone skin as well, so I was very nervous, but my skin has adapted to this product with no breakouts. It's amazing. Since I have been using these products, I used my old face soap once, and I was shocked at how awful my skin felt. It stripped my skin and made it super tight, and it felt awful. I will never go back. I'm so glad I found this product. It's great at removing makeup, too. This person, their comment was chock full with information. And one thing I do want to point out that I haven't mentioned yet is that with any new face care practice that you jump into, because our face is an ecosystem, remember, and it's working to get in balance, it'll take a little bit of time to get in balance. So typically dermatologists will recommend when you're starting a new face care regimen to give yourself about a month for your face to find that equilibrium. So if this isn't working for you within the first few days, don't worry. Your face is just trying to get rid of those impurities so it can use this nice organic, natural process of cleansing the skin. Next, this next testimonial comes from someone who used the sea buckthorn starter kit, which you can find online. And basically what that is, it's just a face cleansing oil and the face oil. I've struggled since puberty to keep my acne under control. It has been a constant battle trying to reduce oil on my skin and keep my skin hydrated at the same time. For a few years, it seemed to be okay with a mild breakout here and there, but this past fall, I started getting horrible breakouts, which is incredibly disheartening when you're in your late 20s. I would venture to say any time in your life, frankly. I spent so much money trying to keep it natural, but trying to get rid of it at the same time. One day in December, I visited the Badger Balm website for something completely unrelated. I can't for the life of me remember now, and ended up buying this and the Beauty Balm. It has completely changed my face. I am so grateful. My skin is beautiful. And the last testimony I want to share with you is about the Damascus Rose Beauty Balm. This one's a real brief one. This person says, let's just say if I were stranded on a deserted island, I'd like to have this with me. Works great, smells divine. And one more testimonial that covers all of the products. This person has been using the face care regimen for a while, the oil face care. I've been using them every day, and they actually make me feel taken care of and deserving of beautiful things in my life. It was a bit profound. So this kind of brings us back full circle. We were talking about earlier that it's not just a different cleansing method that's going to make sure that your face is in balance, but it's a whole process. It's a holistic approach to face skin care. So to kind of wrap up today what we've talked about, we opened up with the philosophy of face care. So how do we take care of ourselves? What extra things should we be doing other than just cleansing our face? And we talked about where the ingredients are coming from and what those ingredients are. We talked specifically about the oil cleansing method. So again, you're gently massaging the cleansing oil on the face, and you're giving yourself a miniature steam bath, and then gently wiping that off, and then following up with a nice moisturizer, whether that face oil or the Beauty Balm. We walked through the key ingredients of what makes those three components, the cleansings, the face oil, and the Beauty Balm, what makes those work and why they're important to maintaining a really healthy, balanced skin type for your face. And then we talked about why Badger face care. So we walked through the 4 different types that we create here at Badger for the different skin types. And again, I encourage you that if you wanted to try one, try it, give it some time, let your skin get into balance to make sure that it's finding that equilibrium with the new practice. So with that, I am so grateful that you have joined me today to learn a little bit more about the oil cleansing method and oil face care and how we can care for ourselves well by using natural and organic ingredients such as these oils on our face to maintain that healthy lifestyle every day. Thank you so much, and if you have any questions, please feel free to go ahead and type those up now in the control panel, and we'll be happy to answer those now.
Okay, thank you, Katie, for all that great information. I'm going to start with the questions. So one person asked, I have cystic acne and hyperpigmentation. Do you have something to help me?
Yeah, I can't speak specifically to those issues, but I would simply say I would start off with the unscented face oil. Again, oftentimes the irritation that we receive on our face is because we're using harsh ingredients or even steroids, depending on the situation, the severity of your situation, and then that can cause severe irritation for our skin. And so I would say I would start off with that unscented face cleansing oil. Again, the skin is going to naturally understand what the oil process is going to do. So I would start with that unscented.
Great. Next question. Can you mix and match between scent families? For example, use the Argan Cleansing Oil and the Damascus Rose Beauty Balm.
Most definitely. I do it all the time. If you picked up at the very beginning when they were introducing me, there was a little quip about how I love smells. I love great smells. And so I love the smells of the Damascus Rose, the Argan, and the Sea Buckthorn. And so I will oftentimes mix them just because of the smells. So yes, you can.
Okay. How long should I follow this regimen before I see results?
Yeah, so that one's kind of a tricky question. Certainly, all of our skin types are going to be different. So I don't currently know what your habits are or what you're using. So for myself, I noticed results within about a week. I could just tell that my face felt naturally hydrated, but it wasn't overly oily. So I could tell that it was balancing out. And like I mentioned earlier, dermatologists will recommend to give yourself max a month. So I'd say anywhere between a week and a month. So I know a month sounds a little long, but bear with it. You may have a lot of impurities in your skin that just need some time to get out. And again, part of it may be changing your habits too, getting that sleep, making sure you're drinking water, getting exercise, that sort of thing.
Okay, a month. That's not too long. Next question. How much oil should I use at one time? Should I use it sparingly?
That is a great question. So I'll just share what I use. With the cleansing, I usually do about, depending on what your comfort level is.
Okay, thank you. Next question. On this a little bit, but someone wanted a little clarification.
Yeah, I would start specifically skin, and that's just about it.
Okay. And sort of wrapping it up, a couple more. Can you use the oils on spots other than your face, like your hair, for example?
That's a good question. Certainly you could. What I would use, if you wanted to use it on your hair, I'd use the face oil, and I would only do it as an intensive oil treatment times my arms as well. But we also make a body oil hands, and so I was thinking of a big exposed hand, and so of an animal, and so I was thinking of a bear. So this is originally called bear paw. And so when he started to pitch this lumber yards, they're like, oh, great, yeah, like this other bear paw product. He put it to his face, drawing board, and realized, oh, what's another hand really well, because he also learned that badgers, they're very familial. They're very
some wonderful information for everyone, so thank you.
Certainly. My pleasure.
And if you have not already done so, please register for our upcoming webinar, which will be Tuesday, July 28th. This one will be called Hemp 101, Rediscover Hemp, hosted by Manitoba Harvest. And for more information, please visit LuckyVitamin.com and search keyword webinar. Now please see the screen for the exclusive promo code, which will be on select face care items that Katie covered in this presentation. And just a reminder, this code is active now and will be active for the next 72 hours ending Friday. Also, be sure to check out the full Badger line on LuckyVitamin.com. They definitely have some great products that you guys should be aware of in addition to the face items. So please check those out. And thank you very much again. Have a great day.